Welcome back to my channel, guys. It is G here. All right, I'm gonna get right into this because I know you guys got a lot of stuff to do. Now, I was reading this New York Times article. I'm gonna show it to you. And since I've been talking a little bit about dating and, the interracial thing, I thought this was a timely article for me to discuss. And, I read it, and then I'm going to tell you the summary of it and all that. But I read it, and the lingering question that I had while I was reading this, how can Black women stop internalizing the negative perspective that they expect from the entire world? Subscribe to my channel, and we're going to talk about this just a little bit. Okay, guys. Now, summary of the article. Basically, the article is talking about these Black women who are in interracial, multi-ethnic relationships and how they've had to code switch to a certain extent until they felt some level of comfortability with the person in which they were seeing, dating, or whatever. And I mean, it even talks about their struggle with exposing their natural hair and all of those kind of things. Now, I was reading this article and I'm like, I get it. All right. Don't think I don't understand why this whole thing in our heads exists, right? Or how it exists in a lot of women's heads in general. Okay. I get why, I get the history and all of that, right? And I get even today why women might feel this way. But we have internalized this, right, to so many depths that it creates so many limitations for us personally, right? And what I was reading, when I was reading the article, and, the woman was talking about code switching and, not exposing her language, like Ebonics. She wouldn't use Ebonics in front of her white boyfriend for a while. She didn't want him to see her natural hair in its kinky state. Speaking of hair, I gotta get mine recolored, y'all. That's why I got this thing on my head. Look at it, it's a mess. I got nothing but roots right here. I gotta go get it colored. But these kids, they don't be letting me free to do the things I need to do for myself. I also need a manicure. That's why we're so close, because I'm not trying to really show my bad chipped nails, and I'm always, anyway. So I'm reading this, and she's talking about code switching. And now I'm going to be honest, I have code switched when I was looking for a job, right? So I would, straighten my hair and, show up for interviews. When I was doing that sort of thing, especially when I was younger, I'd show up for interviews with straight, long straight hair. But then when I get a job, the first day in, poof, afro, right? So I get it. I get that thing of wanting to feel like, what, I'm not gonna let this be a limitation or what's acceptable to people. But what's always interesting to me when I think about this in reality, where did we pick this up from? In our age, not, I understand our grandparents and blah, 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 blah. They passed this down to us, right? This, you can't do that. You're not doing it. I'm going to tell you though, since I have been, in this world, the only people who have ever said anything negative to me about my looks, my skin color, my hair texture, have been people who look like me. I have not had any person outside of being a Black person say anything bad or negative about how I look. And you start to wonder, okay, that's where it came from, right? That is where the idea came from. It's white people don't accept this about you, so therefore it's bad. And we've internalized a lot of that. So, like, you think about, like, I meet a guy, he's great, but I'm scared for him to see my natural hair. I'm scared for him to know that I wear wigs, or like whatever Black women do, like all of the awesome things that Black women do. I personally have never really worn a wig outside of, play, but I I want to maybe one day, I don't know, and I'm not feeling like I need to hide the fact that I might do that. I mean, obviously, I wear my hair natural. I've been natural for a really long time. But the first time that I cut my hair and like went, natural, did the big chop and not everything like that, someone in my family, a woman in my family, said to me, "You used to be so pretty." Like when I had long, relaxed hair. That is what made me pretty. And those kind of comments are ones that I look back in my life. I've only got it from Black folks. Those kind of comments where I wasn't pretty if I didn't have straight hair, or I was too brown, or don't stay out in the sun too long, you don't want to get too much darker. Like those kind of comments came from Black people who internalized what is acceptable or what they believe is acceptable to white folks. Now, I know colorism and all that thing is a thing, but I'm going to say, I'm actually going to talk about this, I think, in my next video. I am pretty sure from my experiences in the world, it has felt like, for me personally, that Black is Black. Unless you're proper able to pass, light skin, whatever. Y'all, I had somebody compare my child to Gary Coleman. The actor, I don't know, Different Strokes or whatever. Like a white person looked at my son. It was like, oh, you know who he reminds me of? Arnold. I didn't know who he was talking about, to be honest with you, when he said it. And I was kind of like, Arnold. In my head, it went to the cartoon Hey Arnold for some reason. And I was like, I don't even understand this reference, So, but then later, it clicked that what he was talking about was Different Strokes and Arnold Gary Coleman. So, I confirmed that's what he meant when I saw him again. Because I'm just like, okay, technically my son is light skinned, Gary Coleman is not. But what that man saw was a Black little boy. And that is it. So when we start breaking down these reasons that we still carry this on, like I said, I get the history, but we're still carrying this on internally, more so than people externally are. We have to start thinking, how can I let this shit go? One of the things that's really confusing to a lot of Africans is Black Americans' obsession, or what they see as an obsession, with white people. And this kind of falls in line, right? Like worrying about what they think, what they say, and if I expose my real self, and I da. Like, we're too worried about what they think, what they do, whatever. We're not being as free as we intend to be when we're like this. And you know what? It makes you angry. Because in general, white folks walk around like they owned everything. No? I live in this country where it's mostly white folks, and I'm telling you, they act like they own not just this country, but the freaking world. It's very, very true. And you know what? My husband is white. So I talk about these things openly, even with him. He's back there listening to this conversation. So I'm telling you, I don't understand why we can't live in our truth, like wholly, fully, because in those moments is when we are able to really accept ourselves and start letting go of that internal bullshit. That internal stuff that so many of us cannot detach from, because it's fear. It's so many different things. It's so many different things. And I think sometimes when we start to realize, you know what? People do find Black women beautiful, acceptable. A lot of the rhetoric that we hear from the people within the like Blackness, that's their own internalized hate, problems, stress, limitations, whatever you want to call them, that they're projecting on the rest of us. So I think like recognizing that starts to help us realize more and more, you know what? I am accepted if I accept me. I can be everything and get everything and have everything. Like all of those things, like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And that's what I'm hoping more of us start to do. Like this article was disappointing because like these are young women. So I think that their moms and grandmas did this to them because in general, we keep focusing on what we aren't. We focus on all of these things that really don't matter because what we are is what we are. And I think like ultimately we start to more and more realize, you know what? I've been worried about the wrong stuff for way too long, and letting that go is true freedom. That's what I think. What do you think? You gonna tell me in the comments all about like, I don't know, look at the article. You guys, I'll put the link in the description, because I really do think that for me, and I don't know, maybe it's been different for you, but I've lived in lots of places and I've dated, like I said, multi-ethnically. I've done different types of cultures and been involved, and like never once has anyone said anything offhand to me, anything strange in regards to me being a Black woman. I have only gotten that from other Black folks. Is it just me? I don't know. You guys tell me. So we'll meet in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. By the way, do you want to talk to me one in a group? Like I'm on Clubhouse. I have a club on Clubhouse. You can follow my club. It's called No More to Give. All right, follow my club on Clubhouse, and I host rooms. I talk about a lot of different issues. Sometimes I do silly things. So I really want to invite you to my club on Clubhouse if you are on the app. No More FUCKS. I had to use the stars to give. That's the name of my club, and I founded it with another woman on the app. So that's it. I'll talk to you soon. Ciao, ciao for now.